The Forest is a classic base building survival explorer, but what lays hidden amongst the trees is far from your average survival game. Let's get into the review. So The Forest starts like pretty much every other game in this genre with, you've guessed it, a plane crash. While your character is half conscious, you see a silhouette of a giant man standing over you, holding in his arms your unconscious child, and then you black out. When you come around, all that's left is a destroyed cockpit with no sign of your son or the mysterious character who was holding him. You grab the first weapon you find, which is your trusty axe, and off into the forest you go in search of food, shelter, but most of all, little Timmy. This game has a couple of layers. It's a typical survival game where you need to find resources, hunt animals, and try to find your way off this island. It also has a base building element which is brilliant. There's so much variety and so many items. You can craft and you can build and you can create, and it begins to make the survival on the island a bit more straightforward, at least when it comes to the elements anyway. As you can see, there's so much to build. You could literally build a cabin from scratch, or there's prefabs that you can put together and quickly start to build a fun little village in the middle of nowhere. There's quite an in-depth crafting element too. There's lots of items which you can craft and improve, and it's really intuitive, letting you know exactly how much you need of a certain item to craft the desired bit of equipment. It's also the same for the construction side as well. When you've got a building halfway constructed, it pins the amount of resources you need to finish the construction on the bottom left of your screen, which is really handy when you're building lots of different things and it's hard to remember how much of a certain item you need. The map is pretty big without being overbearing, and there's lots of little nooks and crannies to explore and try to find the best place to build your base. Unfortunately for you though, base building and surviving the elements is not the only thing you need to worry about, as pretty soon into your playthrough you'll come into contact with the flesh eaters. These cannibals are kind of like a zombie looking creature. They run around the map, sporadically appearing throughout the forest. Sometimes they'll just stalk you, and other times they'll attack you, and it makes the game pretty creepy because you can run into these guys anywhere, anytime, as they're constantly roaming around the map. The developers do a really good job of animating the trees and the forest as it moves in the wind, and it keeps on catching your eye when you're not expecting it, and it feels like you're being stalked, which really helps build up the atmosphere. The final element is the storyline. There's no real cutscenes, but there's always the overarching objective of finding Timmy and getting off the island. As you go and searching for your son, you realise there's a lot more to the forest than meets the eye, as there's a huge system of underground tunnels that need to be explored and mapped for you to find any equipment that will help you get off this wretched island. I'm not going to go too much into detail about the underground because exploring it is creepy and it keeps you on edge, so I don't want to give too much away of what's down in the dark. I have to say I love this game. I'm not a usual fan of the creepy, scary type genre, especially when it comes to flesh eaters who jump scare you all the time before they take you underground to boil you into a nice tasty stew. But this one is really fun. There's loads to explore above ground and below. But my favourite part is building the bases. There's loads of cool things you can construct to improve the quality of life, but my favourite part was building the cool defences using an array of traps provided to help you fend off the hordes of bad guys that regularly come to take you down into the deep, deep dark. If you like games like Stranded Deep and Green Hell, you'll really like this one. Even if you're a bit of a wuss like me, the bad guys are well done and they are creepy but not too scary, and it doesn't put you off wanting to go down and explore where they hang out. Although I do warn you, some of the scenes underground are pretty gruesome, I'll be honest. There's also loads of little clues and mysteries that have been left for you to discover as you explore the map, and I hope you have as much fun as I did searching for little Timmy. Overall, I give it an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching.